Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Insurance Town. I'm the Mayor Heath Sheeran and the host of this podcast. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm pumped you're here hanging out with me today because I got my good friend Monica Adwani hanging out with me today, and we get into some really cool stuff. Can't wait for you to check it out. Before I do, though, I got to let you know, this show was sponsored by my good friends over at Canopy Connect. Go to usecanopy.com/Heath, get a discount. Guys, sign up right now. Stop what you're doing. Hit pause on this episode. Check it out. Go get you a demo. Tell them I sent you. Use the code MAYOR. You'll get a nice little discount. You become part of the family. You're going to love it. They have intake platforms. They have a link for you to use to send to your prospects to collect deck pages, collect driver list, collect VIN numbers, collect loss runs on commercial, all the things that you need to quote your prospects. You get your own link that you could send out to your prospects, to your referral partners, to all the above, to your mama and all her friends, for all I care. But it's amazing. If you're not using Canopy Connect, or if you've been thinking about using them, let me just go ahead and push you over the edge. Go check it out. Also, my friends over at Hire Mav. You don't need a call center. Just use Mav. Nobody likes a call center anyway. Go there. Mav is the AI-powered insurance expert that engages unlimited leads with friendly text to quote, qualify, connect prospects to your agents and producers. And it's done in such a way that leads are constantly receiving great information. They are not being spammed. And it's just unreal. The lower cost of service at 50%. There's 30% higher lead conversion rate. Call centers rely on outdated pre-caller tactics. Mavs has text conversations that are personal, relevant, and accurate every single time. And lastly, I got to talk to you about my friends over at Goalie. Goalie Nutrition is an inventive, people-focused, that's what I love the most, people-focused company that is committed to providing great products that taste good, that make you feel good, and that help you. I use the trio bundle of ACV, ashwagandha, which I know you've heard of it, the ashwagandha. You probably seen it on TikTok, and you love it. And I also love the prebiotic, the postbiotic, and the probiotic, all three in one, and it makes my gut feel better. My mind feels good. I'm a lot more calm and less stressed. You got to check it out. Go to gogoalie.com/mayor. Get 26% off. Guys, I'm going to slide out of the way so you can check out my conversation with my good friend Monica Adwani. Monica Adwani, what's happening?
Hey Heath, how you doing? I am very good. How about you?
Man, I am good. It's been a long time, and we've been trying to get this thing going for a little bit now, so I'm glad we're finally here.
Yes,
and
me too.
finally doing it.
Yes.
So, yeah, I saw you were going to be speaking at ABU, and I'm going to be there again speaking, and so I was like, man, we got to catch up. Been a hot
Super
minute.
excited. It will be like a reunion.
That's right. That is exactly right, man. It's been way too long. So, what have you been up to? How's life treating you up there in the is it cold northeast now?
It is. It's kind of right now the weather doesn't even know what it wants. Some
Right.
days are hot, some days are super cold. So it's temperamental right now. So
Yeah.
depending, you need to have two outfits in your car.
I hear you. Yeah. In Arkansas, it's the same thing, man. It's crazy. And then you've had a lot of changes in your life lately, and you've had a lot of cool stuff that you're doing now. And so I was like, man, there's a lot we can get into. But for those that don't know, Monica, let's take a quick walk down memory lane and catch the audience up on who you are and what you're doing now and what brought you to where you are now.
God, so 20 years in insurance actually
It's a
this
long
year,
time.
which is a very long time. I'm still 25, so
That's right. I was gonna say you look a lot better after
Um,
20 years than I do. My 20 years has like turned me gray, but I think that's 3 kids too, though. But
yeah, I'm still hiding them. I refuse to dye my hair. But insurance is exciting. It's always been, and I think it will always be. For me, I started my first half of my career was on the carrier side, so I was at Liberty for a very long time, and then I moved into the independent side, which I've been the other half of my career. So it's super interesting how that has evolved. I was for a very long time with Matt Namoli and Zach at GNN. After that acquisition, I move on into another agency, and that's when I opened my consulting firm, No Rise Consulting, and I started consulting with agents across the country. From there, Sabatal was born, which is still kicking with Troy and the team over there. So super excited for that. The company has been growing, and it's 5 years strong now. And then I became a partner at Breezy Seguros, which was recently acquired by Trucordia. And that was as of November. So it's been a whirlwind of things. And now focusing a lot on continuing to help the Latino community, which has been Breezy's target market for the past 4 years, but also moving a lot into the consulting side with the independent agents, so we can help them with data management, process management, operational management. So that's kind of what we are focusing on most.
so that background with the carrier, which I've got that as well.
Yeah.
I have a decade of experience on the carrier side too. So going back to that a minute, because I don't know if we were really talked about that much, but what kind of role is that play like in the way you think about things as a agency owner or inside an agency or helping agency owners? Because there's a lot that I don't think people quite understand. When you've been inside of a carrier, you understand and see things a lot differently than someone who's never been there.
Yeah. So for me, my learning experience with the carrier was a little bit different because I didn't come on a sales role or a service role. I actually went to school for IT and business management. So when I started Liberty, I started at the Research Institute for Safety, and I was actually an analyst there. So I was analyzing data from research that was done, and that research drove how underwriting and how actuaries saw the pricing and how the policies have to be written. So I
like super nerdy stuff.
Yeah, I learned insurance very differently. um, and I was exposed, to the training. That's where they had the skid driving school. They had houses that they put on fire. So all the appraisers and all the claims, training and everything was done in that institute. So I learned from, the nerdy side of it. And then I was recommended to do the program. So I end up doing rotations between sales, service, claims, and other areas of the business. So I actually had the whole shebang of how everything works from a carrier standpoint. So I learned that way. And then at the end, it was that I experienced like a sales role and service role right before I left. So it's very interesting to see the intricacies, because that moving into the independent side, it helped me understand how to actually communicate better with the marketing reps and understand, what drove profitability really, and understand the underwriting requirements and all of that. So a little bit of a different career path than most.
Yeah, but you learned, like you said, you learned risk management, you learned claims, you learned how to prevent, claims, as well as how to handle some of that. You learned a lot of the educational, which makes a lot of sense for a lot of the content you put out and a lot of things you talk about when you were doing the Breezy Seguros and still doing that. And, the risk management profile stuff and all the things that you do on that makes a lot of sense. And it gives you a lot more of that credibility. And I'm sure you rely on a lot of those things, even though that was earlier in your career. That had a lot of that stands up today still.
Yeah, especially for the underserved communities, right? We have a big
Yeah.
gap in education when it comes to the overall population in the United States, right? So a lot of people do not understand the depth of what is to have insurance. It's just the reality that we live in. Everybody sees insurance as a commodity that they hope they never had to use, but in reality is that a lot of people skim through it, because they are fed with, the lower price. I just have to find the lower price. And as far as I have coverage, I'm fine. And that's not the reality, right? We see a lot of the day to day detrimental financial consequences that people have. And usually it affects more the hardworking, lower class. So that has been a lot of the focus on in terms of education that we've been trying to do. I know we cannot reach everybody. I wish I could. But there is just a lot of missed education in America in regards
So
to
how do
insurance.
you how do you like that, when people, I hear it a lot and it drives me crazy, and I've probably said it in my life of, that whole joke of like, here's your insurance policy. I hope you never have to use it.
Yeah,
Does that just cringe you, or how do you
it
feel about that?
does. It does. It does. It makes me like want to crawl and like, choke somebody. But
Well, it almost cheapens what we do. It's like it cheapens what we do a little bit. It's almost like, those people that have, like, my grandmother had this house, growing up. You'd go to that one room in the house, you couldn't sit on the furniture because it was such a nice room. You know what I'm talking
did
about? Everything
she
was
have
clean.
plastic? Did
The
she have
plastic,
plastic?
right? You're like, you
Yeah, my
can't sit on this
grandmother
furniture. And I'm
too.
like, bro, it's not homey. It doesn't feel good to go in that room because you're afraid you're going to break something or
And then
spill.
don't sweat. You will have a problem.
Right. And it's like, it feels like that with your insurance. Like when you say that, oh, I hope you never have to use it. It's like being in that nice room in the dining room. You can't touch anything, especially my hyperactive ass at 6 years old running around like crazy. I couldn't touch
That's
anything.
hilarious. That's so funny. We grew up so far apart, but so similar.
Right. Well, that's what it is in insurance. When we say that, and it drives, I'm like you, it makes you want to crawl a wall. Don't say that. It doesn't feel comfortable when you say that. It
Yeah, yeah.
doesn't
And
give a
the
peace of
worst,
mind.
the worst is to see that when the moment of truth comes up that they really need to use it, to see the atrocities that they buy because they
Yeah.
weren't correctly uh, informed. uh, it's like, I hate to say it, but I told you so. Right?
Yeah.
Like, it's just, I cannot do anything for you right now. I can help you moving forward, but I cannot help you 3 days ago. So it's it hurts. If you really are for helping the people, um, it hurts to see people going into financial burden and losing a lot of money just because they didn't want to pay 10, $20 more a month, or because
Right.
nobody explained it to them correctly. So it is tough. It is really tough.
So, as an agency, inside the agency of Breezes Seguros, or any of the work that you do now, that's, a huge thing that I talk about a lot on stage, which I'll be talking about at ABU some too, is like leading with service, leading with value add, leading with education, talking to your clients about those types of things. And so, the agencies listening right now that have said that, or maybe they're thinking right now, gosh, I wish I would never said that before, that hope you never use it thing. What would you say to an independent agent, whether they're, you know, um, one of the minority ownership, or, your pale male and still typical
Yeah.
agency owner that, may have been caught in that trap? What would you say to them in order to provide more of that value to their customers so they don't have to say that anymore?
As I go and talk to many, many agencies across the United States, the one thing that is, I understand that it's becoming more common, is that we as agency owners or agents pretend that the client has to adjust to us, so our life becomes a lot easier and our agency becomes easier to manage. And we don't pay a lot of attention as of what the real client needs are, right? And I think paying attention to that is the more important factor that will make you grow and differentiate yourself from any other. I took the challenge of coming to Breezy Seguros with, even though I'm Latina, I've never worked with the Latino market until 4 years ago. I was very focused on the high net worth, habitational side of things, and coming to that side was a complete change, a shift that I never expected. And here I'm coming like extremely confident that everything I've learned for the past, I don't know, 16 years of my career, that I will come and implement it and it will all work just fine. And operationally, we will be great. To be honest with you, I wanted to walk away like month 2 because I couldn't communicate with the clients. It doesn't matter how much of an expert I was, they would not talk to me because I did not spoke their language.
Right. And yeah, that makes sense. But surely you leaned into the fact that you did work in niches, you did work in verticals, high net worth,
Yeah.
habitational, whatever. And I love that you use that, spoke their language. I hate to interrupt you, but
Yeah.
you spoke their language as in Spanish, but not their language in business.
I didn't speak either.
Oh, you didn't? Okay.
So I speak Spanish, but I didn't speak Portuguese at that moment. So
Okay.
I had to learn a third language because
Oh, wow.
85% of the clientele was Brazilian.
Oh,
And
wow.
I didn't know how they worked. So as a consumer, I grew up here. I've been consuming in America. So I am a different generation of, working Spanish, Latina person. When you look into the spectrum of servicing Hispanics, or, different cultures from the Latino sector, like Brazilians or, Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, they're all different. They're all different. They all communicate differently. So the first thing I had to learn is, 1, to speak the language, 2, to understand how they conducted business, 3, how they actually moved into the market.
Yeah.
They like to pay cash. They don't trust the banks. And there's the generational differences too. You have the ones that, like me, that grew up here, that are Americanized, and we like to do things very closely to others. And then there is the other generations that do not, and they are different. So I had to kind of take off my hat of everything I've learned, and I had to immerse myself into this new culture and new cultures and understand their business needs, because now I'm dealing with contractors and I'm dealing with Main Street businesses and restaurants owned by minorities and Latinos and Brazilians, and I have no idea how they work.
So do you start with pain points? Is that what you started with? Or did you start with?
You start with the pain points, definitely. And I think that's what will make an agent better, is just understanding the pain points of your clients and how they actually operate. Because how do you get their attention? Like, we don't send emails. They don't read them.
So you communicate by text?
But we send about 8,000 text messages on a monthly basis, so
that's a good point, though. You have to learn how to communicate on their level.
So
and what they
understanding what is the happy medium, right? And what will make your operation successful in order to maintain your clients engaged is the first and only thing that you should do always. Otherwise, you will try to bring people through the door and they will leave right away if you don't know how to create that cohesive communication between them.
Yeah, and I see too many agencies that I talk with and consult with that just assume everyone wants to be communicated the same way. I send out emails, or I send out this, and some people are just different. Like, even in the same household or in the same business or the same agency. For example, my wife and I live in the same household. We might as well be the same person. We're a lot of the same, but
Yes.
She hates phone calls and would much rather text. I would much rather pick up the phone and call and get it out of the way real quick instead of going back and forth on text. And so a lot of times I'll call her, hey, honey, just want to say hi and I love you. It's like, you could just send me that in a text. And I'm like, or she'll like text me 15 times to tell me all the things to pick up at the grocery store. I'm like, babe, you could have called me and told me that in 13 seconds, but instead I had to spend 30 minutes reading back and forth text, even in our own very household. And so back to the point, within your own businesses you're consulting with, the owner of the business or the household, the head of the household might love text messages, but someone else might enjoy WhatsApp or, communicating through DMs or a phone call.
And then you have the difference of generations too. I have
1,000%.
I have a 14-year-old, and God help me, the way they consume.
And completely different.
I'm studying my daughter so I can prepare for the future, So like I send her things and I'm like, hey, her name is Veronica. And I'm like, Veronica, mom has a very hectic schedule. So I need you to send me all the dates of all the activities that you have. And then she goes, which activities, mother? And I'm like, well, everything you have. And she's like, you sure it's everything? And I'm like, yes. And then I start getting calendar invites. But then I asked the same thing to her friend, which is also, she's a year older. She's 15. And then she just sent me a big text with all these things, no details.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, I need place, time, all these things, So it is very interesting how this new generation also
1,000%
is absorbing from us, but also, they are so different and everything has to be quick and now in like 3 minutes, 2 minutes, 1 minute. It cannot be 10, and then cannot be this big text or anything like that. It's like everything is abbreviated. So we have to keep, in tune with how
we
not
certainly
only
do,
cultures, but also generations are changing, and that has to change within our business. It has to.
I'm blown away, to that point. I have 3 teenagers and they all 3 communicate differently. But my son, even this morning, we were going, he's a big health nut. He's graduating high school at the end of this year, but he's a huge health nut. And we were going through a coffee shop to order some drinks or whatever. And he went on ChatGPT to search how many calories were in this drink that I was drinking. And then he was like, Dad, do you realize that? And I was like, ChatGPT, you didn't Google it. And then like an hour later, we were texting about some basketball gear he wanted. He was going on TikTok and looking, for gear, and I was like, just Google or go on Amazon. He was like, no, Dad, I go here. He watches videos of other people using it and sees, we don't go to the link and it'll go to Amazon then or wherever. And it's just strange. Like I'm used to, like, and I thought I was pretty cool, and I understood things, but man, they go to TikTok to look for things.
It's beyond our understanding. It's beyond our Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn understanding. I'm still
100%. And I thought I was cool because I was on Instagram and TikTok.
I'm still not 100% there, but yes, it's true. Like my daughter will be like, Mom, I've been watching videos about this for the past 25 days because she's very into sports. And anything that will help her improve her sports performance, she will just be a nut about it and go right into it, from clothing to health things to exercises. And she's like, I need you to help me with this routine. And I've been watching this, and you'll see in 10 days, this will change, Mom. I watched like 25 videos of this on TikTok. And I'm like, not everything that's there, it's true, right?
Totally. But again, back to your point, I mean, like going back to the business side of it, I mean, your people communicate differently. You were learning this going from high net worth, going from, the world you were in, and now you're plugged into this other world. But again, you'd had niche experience. So you understood the idea of learning their pain points, learning what they needed, learning those things. And so inside the agency, at Breezy Seguros, as you're going through that, what are some of the other things that you picked up on that maybe you were like, I didn't recognize that, or some surprises that you picked up on, maybe that you're using now in your consulting?
Well, what I did notice there that was very differently from my prior experiences was the community trust. That was very different. So, you know, clients will talk to other clients in regards of their experience in terms of the, you know, education or the learning or how the process was, right? Um, and that was very different because they will already come with an idea of what you probably will tell them, and they will come prepared with pricing brackets, right? With pricing brackets. And pricing is a big issue right now for all of us agents because of so much, either direct or captive competition out there.
Exactly.
Um,
Yeah. 100%.
and the one thing that I can tell you for sure is that something important I've learned is that if you are able, as an agent, as an independent agent, or just as an agent in general, to make yourself not different from others, but actually make them understand what is that they're purchasing and make them really, really trust you, not just with an insurance policy, but with like other aspects of their life, you will have a client for a very long time, regardless of what they see on TV, regardless if someone comes up and offers them. And I think, this is true for many, many, many decades in insurance, where relationships go a long way. But I do believe that it's getting harder and harder because of the economics of where we are as a nation, right? So for us to sustain our essence and sustain our agencies and continue to grow and moving forward, I believe that we as agents and agencies have to take an extra step into understanding not just that we're selling a policy, but that we need to provide other services around that in order to maintain, right, our operations. So, it's not just about helping them with like an audit or helping them file a claim or, doing runner services for like registry or because you bought a new car. Those are services that are embedded into us as agencies no matter what. But what are you doing extra to help these people grow in life, to help them become something more, or to help them reach their dreams, right, or achieve certain goals? And I think that's the next step. It's like, what are you doing extra in order to retain and become family? That's basically it. People need to have a sense of belonging and a sense of trust. And unfortunately, that's something the internet cannot provide, even though it's accessible, fast, and probably cheaper. Still doesn't replace a relationship, and
No,
that's
I,
the
I
most
love
important
that. I
factor.
think you're exactly right. And I think so many people that are scared of AI and ChatGPT or, Gen AI, of whatever, plug-in name there, is
Yeah.
going to take over our business. And I was telling people the other day, we've been saying this for 20 years. You and I have been in this industry. You said it 20 years. I've been in it 20 plus years. I remember when I first got in, I was like, oh, we're going to be replaced by this or that. And
Yeah.
we're not, because of that relationship aspect and because of the value that we bring to the table beyond answering their questions. Because I remember even when Progressive first started doing, direct to consumer, and started doing all that, I would have people call me from Little Rock when I was agency and I was working in the agency. They'd call me to file a claim. Like, what's your policy number? I was like, I didn't buy it from you. I got it online, but they would still call me to
Yeah.
file a claim or to ask questions. And I would
Yeah.
end up earning that business. But again, it was like they can buy an alarm. They still need a consultant. They still need someone to advocate for them. And so, I wonder, again, moving into, doing some of the consulting you're doing, you brought up some consulting, and I think there's a lot that you could talk about from that standpoint, but you mentioned operations.
Yeah.
Is that something you're doing a lot of with the agencies that you're working with, is more day-to-day operational type stuff? And I know you incorporate a lot of this into that kind of thing, which I think is interesting, to incorporate the value add stuff to the operational things.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the agency, right? Because every agency is different, everyone operates differently. What we want to ensure that the owner of the agency and the staff of the agency has is visibility and the possibility of what if we do something differently, right? How do you gain more time, efficiency, and how you serve, and retain your clients better by optimizing every single tool that you have with visibility. So basically, I don't know how many agency owners I've spoken to that have something as simple as 25 different subscriptions and they don't know what they are for, right? So
Right.
we take a granular look at everything from financial to SOPs to how people is working. Like, can you allocate those 25 things that you don't use, and can you plug them into marketing so you can target a certain market and like bring more leads in or awareness into your agency, things like that, right? And then there is the more granular person by person efficiency, right? Like, do you track how many tasks someone can do, right? What is the average age in your agency? How fast do they work, or how adaptable are they? Are you really expecting for them to do what they cannot do? How can you provide them more tools so they can be more efficient and they can gain more time to generate more revenue? Things like that, right? And then instead of spending I don't know, 25 minutes on the phone with an underwriter, are you using this new insurance AI tool? It's not ChatGPT, but Mick has an amazing tool for AI for underwriting that can help a CSR make a decision in 5 minutes instead of 30. So how are you utilizing data,
Yeah.
new tools, and how you're measuring? Can you access everything with a click of a button every single day? It's not your AMS, it's not your CRM, but you have visibility on like a dashboard to see, hey, Karina, yesterday she processed 30 COIs, did I don't know how many endorsements, and she ended up bringing into the agency $10,000 on new business premium. How does that compare to Lucy, Samantha, and Sarah? What is she doing differently than these three are not doing, right? From a financial perspective, how does that reflect into my P&L, right? And things like that. So we take a whole holistical view, and try to integrate those items from accounting, from the day-to-day work overload.
Yeah.
So the agency owner can say, hey guys, last week we experienced 20% increase of efficiency. What did you do differently? So we can probably have 5% more this week, and maybe we don't have to bring a person, we just have to bring a new tool, right? Because in insurance we replace everything with people.
Well, that's the thing. I'm a big believer in, we talk about currency being money and being the number one currency in our industry, but I want to replace that thought process to those listening to the biggest currency is time.
Time.
Yes. And when you talk about efficiency and you lead with that efficiency, yeah, it's going to lead to more money, but that currency that we should be thinking of in the terms of time. Yeah. And a little parentheses sidebar, shout out to Mick Hunt, Premier Strategy Box, close parentheses, back to the show. All right, so I had to give a shout out to my dog there. But back to efficiencies, because you brought that up and you kept coming back to that. You would bring up numbers, but again, that's not the most important currency. We're talking time here.
Yeah, it is time. It is time. And I think many, many, many agencies right now run extremely inefficient. They believe that their inefficiencies will be solved by bringing on more tech stack.
Yeah.
And even though in a percentage of that is true, it also takes some labor in order to understand how do you really have to shift your staff and your environment in order to adapt for that to happen. Because you can bring 20 new tools, but if you don't really understand how, from a financial standpoint and operational standpoint, that's going to make a difference in your agency, the first mistake that it's done is that if the agency owner doesn't understand how that affects them financially, they don't know how to get the buy-in from the rest of the team, and they expect them to adopt it, but they don't know how to communicate how that will help everybody. So, it's changing the narrative. Like, hey guys, we are going to bring this new underwriting tool, and it's going to cost us $20 a month. However, I do expect that with the time frame that you will not have to spend dialing in and finding this information in policies, we will save about 150 hours, and that will be translated into this much amount of money that eventually I can put on a bucket for bonuses. Do you think that they will adopt that tool?
1,000%.
Right? So it's behavior, and not because I want to implement it because I think it's going to be great. It's like, let's bring it back to how actually operationally this makes sense, translate it into financial gain, and then communicate that to the team.
Love it. I absolutely love it. And I hope that you're going to be talking about some of this on stage next month. Will you? Okay.
I'm excited.
So, tell me, okay, so the events in Vegas, ABU, at the Planet Hollywood. So give me just a preview. Like, do you know your topic and what you're talking about? And like, can you give us a little sneak peek of some things you might get into? And if there's people who haven't signed up yet, they can still sign up. They can still register.
They need to sign up. I believe I go on stage on the 29th, which is Wednesday. And we will be talking about how to best utilize AI and data-driven dashboards in order to make better financial decisions. And that's kind of, our topic. Summarize.
Yeah.
We're still developing, the presentation and everything, but
that's
basically
exciting.
Our goal is to show agency owners how visibility can actually change the behavior of an entire team without going through the struggle of adopting, right? Like different things or taking too long to get that buy-in. So our goal is to show a demo of what we have been able to build for other agencies in terms of that visibility, and show them how they can use that in order to come in on a daily basis and completely change, the way that the entire team works on a day-to-day basis to increase revenue and profitability.
Dude, that's awesome. I can't wait. I will be there as well, obviously. So I'll come check out your session. If people listening to this wanted to get in touch with you after listening to this and were resonating with all the things you were saying, how would they get in touch with you? What's the best way to find you? All the things.
Great. They can send me a LinkedIn message, Monica Adwani. There is no other Monica Adwani in America. It's just me. So that's great.
That is awesome.
And then
that is awesome. And they could
phone number, it's 508-963-9108. Or you can just send me my email is also on LinkedIn, so you can send me an email, a message or a text or phone call, and I'll be more than happy to chat.
Or they can go to TikTok and message Veronica, and she'll get with you with a calendar invite.
TikTok, they will not find me there. Yeah, you see like a cute girl with like taekwondo skills. That's my daughter, Veronica.
Oh, taekwondo, nice.
Yeah.
Did you do that? Did you do that? Is that what
black belt?
you are?
Mm-hmm.
And where's she at in that journey now? Is she?
So she is from the 7th, so it's 7 degrees, I believe, and she's on the 2nd degree at 14.
Dude.
She's already certified by Korea Association of Taekwondo and everything. So
dude,
it's been a long journey. She's been there since she's 4.
That is amazing.
10 years, yeah.
That is amazing. I remember my youngest is 13, and I remember when she was younger wanting to take taekwondo, and I was like, what? Because none of our kids have ever done it. And I was like, why? She goes, I want to kick people's butts. And I was like, you can't. That's the whole point. You're not supposed to use it.
For self-defense.
And that's what I kept telling her. She's like, well, there's no point in doing it then. I want to be able to beat people up. And I was like, bro, that's not what it's there for. It's a discipline. And it's to teach you, self-control and discipline and whatnot. And she was like, well, I don't want to do it then. Let's do soccer. So we did soccer instead.
There is a lot of discipline. I'm extremely grateful for that sport. My daughter does basketball. She does volleyball. She does other things. She did soccer, but Taekwondo has been the constant, and the discipline that they learn. It is amazing. Like, I will tell you, I have never, well, I won't say never, but it's been very, very little occasions that I have had to sit down with my daughter to study or to do any of those things. She's very self-disciplined on that. So it helps in different areas when, especially in the world that we're living in today, helps them make better decisions too, more rational decisions as well.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Monica, thank you so much for hanging out. I wish we would have had more time.
That's all right.
But, dude, we get to hang out in Vegas. That's going to be fun.
Ooh, let's see. I will be there for a couple of days. So
yeah.
Let's take it easy.
Let's take it easy. I don't have to bail you out. But if I need to, by the 29th, I'll bail you out. But,
that's good.
Dude, again, thank you so much. Y'all reach out to Monica if you need any assistance, just to talk, just to hang out. She's a good hang, and she could teach you a lot of things as well. But again, thank you so much for being here with us.
No, thank you for having me, and I'll see you in Vegas.
Soccer. So we did soccer instead.
There is a lot of discipline. I'm extremely grateful for that sport. My daughter does basketball. She does volleyball. She does other things. She did soccer, but Taekwondo has been the constant, and the discipline that they learn. It is amazing. Like, I will tell you, I have never, well, I won't say never, but it's been very, very little occasions that I have had to sit down with my daughter to study or to do any of those things. She's very self-disciplined on that. So it helps in different areas when, especially in the world that we're living in today, helps them make better decisions too, more rational decisions as well.
Dude, that's awesome. Yeah. Monica, thank you so much for hanging out. I wish we would have had more time.
That's all right.
But, dude, we get to hang out in Vegas. That's going to be fun.
Ooh, let's see. I will be there for a couple of days. So let's take it easy.
Let's take it easy. I don't have to bail you out. But if I need to, by the 29th, I'll bail you out. But,
that's good.
Dude, again, thank you so much. Y'all reach out to Monica if you need any assistance, just to talk, just to hang out. She's a good hang, and she could teach you a lot of things as well. But again, thank you so much for being here with us.
No, thank you for having me, and I'll see you in Vegas.